Hey guys, Nice Galore here, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a handling video type thing. I'm going to be doing two of these videos. This is the first one, and this is going to be teaching people how to handle a hidden tang knife. So, first thing, what is a hidden tang knife? This is a hidden tang knife. I don't know how well you can see that, but it is a knife that does not have any holes in it for pins to go through. It's secured mainly with glue, some form of that adhesive, something like that, and you cannot see the tang at all when the knife is complete. You're going to have a handle completely surrounding it. I quite like them. They're good when you don't have any pin material, so they're quite good to start off with, and you just have the basics like adhesive and just similar stuff like that. So I've got this is like a straight razor design. It's a full flat grind knife. It's a chisel grind though, because chisel grinds are life and they are the best. Well, they're pretty good. They're not that good, but they're pretty good. But I do like the full flat grind on it. It's full flat grind one side, chisel the other side, which is essentially just a chisel grind. But first thing you're going to do, get yourself a bit of wood. I'm going to be using oak because oak's pretty nice. And it's pretty dense as well, and it's roughly the right thickness as well. This one, I don't want to be hacking anything up, But I might have a little bit of a change of heart because I don't have very much of this oak wood, so I might go have a look into the shed, see if there's any nice wood in there. I'm gonna go do that. I'll see you guys in a sec, see if I find anything nice. Right, so I've found a few things. I've found these, which look really nice. They're hunks of birch, which is a really nice wood to work with. Catch the light. Yeah, it's nice wood. And other than that, the only decent thing I could find was this chunk of hazel. I used to do a lot of woodwork back in the day, so I still have a lot of wood left over, but thinking about it, I'm not sure this would work particularly well because it's really small, meaning that it's kind of rubbish and there isn't going to be a lot of work to do to it, which kind of defeats the purpose of doing it. It's also quite knotty, this bit, and it's cracked a little on the inside. I mean, if I show you these are the very ends. Lighting. Anyway, believe me, they've cracked on the ends. They don't look all that great at all. Yeah, they're just generally not great, but the other side, they're really nice. They've kept their shape really well. They're nice and clean bits of timber. So, thinking about it, what I might do is cut a chunk out of this and then make this the handle, which is very likely to happen. So, let's do some designing and see what we can come up with. So after a few minutes of faffing around, this is kind of what I come up with. It's not going to be the coolest knife in the world, but it's going to be okay. And as you can see, I've drawn a straight line here just with the back of this because it's pretty darn straight. This has got a slight recurve in this because I designed it like a barber razor almost. And oh, that's the chisel grind side. I kind of mashed a load of designs into it. So I took a few chunks out with a chisel. I made like a star pattern with it. I did a rock pattern design and I center punched it a load. Just kind of experimenting. But yeah, I've drawn a line there to reduce this curve here because I'm going to put a bolster on this probably as well. That's something else I'm going to try and teach you, which I've learned a while ago. So we're going to try that. Yeah, we're going to see how it works. So I'm going to start sawing and whip this little chunk here off. Whoa. There we go, that took a while. We got a nice chunk missing off it, and that'll be quite good for camping, that would, because of all of the birch bark on it. Yeah, anyway, we've whipped that off, so now we're going to cut it down to shape now that we can see some flat wood and we've got something to mark on. Let's do that. Right, so I've cut it down so it's nice and thin. Won't have to do too much thinning, which is nice. Now we can just proceed to trim all the excess off with saws, chisels, whatever else I find at that particular time. Yeah, so let's go do it. About there. Whew, that took a while, but I've done it. As you can see, it does taper out ever so, well, I say ever so slightly. If I get down and have a look, it's quite a lot. It tapers out, but I'd rather it did that than tapered in. It's just how the way I angled my chisel when I was hitting it. You don't need chisels to do this. You could do it just as well with, you know, any saws or bandsaw, hacksaw, and anything you've got. I just like doing it with chisels every now and again because, you know, I like doing stuff by hand. It's good fun. But this is still a pretty useful tool. I would not go without that. So I am going to get my rasps out and then we can start hacking away at this. See if we can get it down to roughly the shape we want. Also going to take that to the belt grinder probably and flatten it off so it is dead flat when I come to add my bolster. So let's do that. Just going to say something before we begin. These rasps are pretty useful when it comes to stuff like this. They're basically files for wood, so you can just bear away at it like that. But I hate these rasps. These rasps in particular, if you just have a look at the shape of them, they bend. You can bend them back, you can bend them forward. Pretty sure they're not hard. Bearing in mind I did buy them for about £8 for a pack of 3, so I wasn't expecting them to last, but still, I mean, just listen to the sound of that. That's literally nothing. That's barely any abrasion. So I'm going to be a very long time. If you've got any kind of decent rasps, use them. If you don't use them. I'm just lazy and I've literally no skill with chisels. I was always a rasper. Even when I did woodwork, I was never a joiner with chisels or anything like that. I used to whittle. I did stuff like that. No, didn't mess with chisels. That was never my thing. But I like chisels. They're useful tools. So I'm going to be here for the next 300 decades. Jeez, that's a really long time. Blimey. 300 decades. That's like 30,000 years. Blimey. Well, that is a long time. Basically the amount of time I spend sanding on knives. But, oh well, what are you going to do? It's quite useful when you're rasping to just change the angle. So you do one side, and you do the other side, then you do the flat. It just means you're removing more material in less places at any one time. It's just quite useful. So yeah, this is good fun. So I'll do the rest of this off camera, as you probably get the general gist. And then we can move on to doing fun stuff like sanding. Oh wait. Did I mention this is a fun project? Yep, sanding and then drilling. Drilling is fun, because making holes and things. And then you do, the fit and finish is always the most fun in knife making. I mean, you'll never find something to do with fit and finish, you know, the very end of fit and finish, that isn't enjoyable to do. Like stuff like making designs on your knife, that is so much fun. You know, acid etching, stuff like that, rock patterning. It's a lot of fun. Stuff like beveling and filing and sanding, it's stuff you have to do on every single knife. So it's not fun when you come to do it. But I don't really know what to say about it, you know. There's only so much you can do. So anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to stop talking about this and we can see what this looks like when it is done. Then after that's done, you can take it over to your belt grinder Oh no, I don't have a belt grinder. How am I going to do this? Exactly, that's why I'm going to show you. I'm not going to use my belt grinder. It did cross my mind and I really want to, because it's so much easier than doing anything with this. But I think to prove a point I am going to, and yes. So, let us get ourselves a rasp, and let's start rasping. So, try and position it like that. I find an easy way of doing it. Try and hands in the way. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. Position it like that if you can. Make sure it don't wiggle around too much. Then just bear down on it. Try and get a nice, really beautiful curve on it. Can't do that. Oh well, work with what you got. But 90% of the work is a rasp job. Then after that, you move on to some of this stuff. It's a strip of 60 grit sandpaper, which is amazing for everything. If not, just use regular woodworking sandpaper, but I like the strip stuff because it is good, and you could use all of it without having a massive, sheet of it go to waste. You can just tear off strips, which is really nice in my opinion. So, let's bear down on some wood. Try and aim for about 45 degrees when you do this, because that takes off the most material. Need to aim at a slightly lower angle to get more material off. But it's looking and feeling alright so far. It's still blocky, but we can change that. So, I'm going to spend, another 500 years doing this. Then, we can move on to fun stuff like doing bolsters, which is actually a real pain in the rasp. But, yeah, I'll try and explain it and do it in a way that makes it look reasonably easy instead of a massive pain. So, let's do it. Right, that is the 100 grit done. Finally, that took ages. I've been through 60, 80, now 100. These first ones were just really for shaping, really, just to really get those nice curves and contours in. Feels really nice in the hand. We're going to move up to the 150 now, and then after that, I think maybe the 180, then 240, then 320, and I think we'll probably leave it around 400. That gives it a nice sheen, but it's not so much of a sheen that I won't want to ever take it outside and just lock it in an airtight cage. So let's just move on to the 150 and we can see how it looks after we've been through a couple more of these grits. You can tell when you're sanding if you've done roughly enough. When you can't see any of the scratches left behind by the previous grit, that is how you sand. You start off rasping your shape, then you start off with your 60 grit or whatever, and then you just sand until you can't see any of the rasp marks, then you move up to 80 grit or 100 or whatever, sand till you can't see any of the original grit, and you just keep going up like that until you get a nice sheen, kind of like that. This is only a 150 so far, so it looks good, but not that good. I'm going to be moving up to 320 and then 400. I'll probably leave it at 400. Nice for working knives. We'll leave it there. And yeah, I'm not going to show any of the other sanding because it's boring and you guys know how to sand. So I think I will just get that done, show you what it looks like, then we can move on to making the bolster, drilling holes, stuff like that, stuff that you need a little bit more technical knowledge of how to do. So let's get it done. Right, so we've got ourselves some linseed oil here, and I've polished this all the way up to 400 grit.
No, it doesn't look very special at the moment, but it never does until the finish is applied, which is one of the reasons why they apply finishes, to make stuff look nice. That is if the lid hasn't glued itself on. So what you want to do here is just dab it ever so slightly just to see what it will look like, and damn does it look good. It's kind of gone honey coloured though, which is a little weird. But other than that, it looks really nice. And don't be worried about getting it on your hands. This linseed oil stuff, it's natural, so you'll probably be all right with it, unless you're allergic to it or something. But that's down to you to recognise that. And yeah, after you've applied it, just give it a quick rub, just to really rub it in, and you'll get rid of a lot of that excess oil, which, as it dries or soaks into the wood, or whatever you want to call it, it will do a lot of stuff that makes it quite rough afterwards. I mean, you polished it up to 400 grit, you want it to feel nice. That's the reason you've done it. And try and keep the face clear as well, because you're going to want to be gluing stuff to that afterwards. So, and there's also no need. So, yeah, but I think this looks really nice now. It's very tactile, it feels very good in the hand, and yeah, I think that's a pretty resounding success. But we're not done yet, we've got a lot more work to do. We've got drilling, we've got bolster making to do, so let's crack on and make the bolster. Right, so I'm going to be making it out of a little sheet of aluminium. I just happen to have this lying around. I've got a whole box of it, which is nice. You can make it out of whatever. I wouldn't make it out of wood, because it kind of defeats the purpose. You're kind of bolstering with wood. I don't know, I've never tried it, but I wouldn't think it'd work. You can do it with an epoxy treated strip of leather. I've seen that done. That looks really nice. You can use aluminium, brass, steel, whatever you want really. Anything in a sheet form that's reasonably rigid you can use. But I'm not sure about wood. I guess you could make one out of plywood, I guess. But yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that one, I think. But anyways, where has it gone? Awesome, you get your little bit. All you're going to be doing, placing it flat on that, finding a pencil, which I have millions of but can never find. Then all you're doing, you're just going to draw a little hole, a little circle all the way around this, and that'll be your bolster pretty much. What I like doing is gluing it on, then drilling the hole all the way through both of them. This ensures you get a very, very tight fit on both of them, and you don't have to do any measuring and all. I don't mind doing measuring on these. It's annoying when it doesn't line up, so I tend to go for the easy approach on it. So I'm going to start drawing and cutting stuff out.
Now just hacksaw it out. Then just keep shaping it with a hacksaw until you're happy at a point where you can just file it. The way it'll sit on the handle at this particular time, I'm hoping it'll sit a little bit proud, just so you've got something to catch on your fingers, you know, and you're not going to slip off really easily. That's kind of what I'm going for. This is why I am leaving a little, because as you draw around, you're going to have a couple of mil there, just where the pencil won't butt up perfectly against the wood. And this is kind of what I'm going to use as my clearance. So as it butts up against my hand, I'll have a little bit to just push against, and I'm not going to slip over and cut myself when I'm using it. I probably will never use it, but still, that's the idea I'm going for, and we'll see how it works. I can always change it once it's on there. But yeah, let's start doing stuff.
So now that you've got them roughly to shape, I've got mine with a little bit poking out the side. This is a personal style choice. You can take it right down, but I wouldn't recommend polishing your handle up so it's really nice beforehand. So what I like to do for just securing them for now is just put a dab of the super glue just on the bolster, line everything up the way you want it to be, and then just chuck it on there like that. Line everything up. And then just leave it. You only have to wait a couple of seconds or minutes or however long the curing time is for the particular super glue. Yeah, then you can start marking out on that with everything being lined up and nothing will move, so nothing will come out of place. So just have to wait a few minutes, then we're ready to start drilling. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is find the center. This is about 26, so I am going to mark 13 on here, 13 millimeters that is. Might change when you guys who like inches start playing around, but other than that, you should be alright. That's 34, so I am going to mark 16. Jesus, that's depressing how I got that wrong. Ugh. Sorry. Right, now that I have those two marked, I just join them up. Join up the lines, that is, wherever I can. Okay, that's one. And that is two. I always like doing this, just to straighten them up a bit. Now you've got to be a little bit careful when you're drilling, just to make sure that you don't use too big a drill bit, because if I go find the knife that we're going to be chucking in this, you must make sure that it's the drill bit you're using is roughly the same size as what you're going to be putting in. Because if you make it too big, it'll stick out the bolster and look really ugly. So, we are only using this to locate where I'm putting this in the handle, because I'm going to be snapping this off soon. So, yeah, I'm going to go find the knife, then I'm going to show you how to drill. So I found the knife, hasn't been tempered, it's literally just been hardened, and well, that's quite good actually, not bad. Yeah, so now the plan is to work out how thick that is. I already know it's 3mm01 tool steel, so I'm going to get a 3mm drill bit, centre punch the centre of this, then I can drill down into it. And then I can crack this off and then enlarge the hole to this width, which I don't know what that is actually, let's find out. The width is 10mm, nice, I'm glad I did that. That's good, 10mm. Did that for myself beforehand apparently. Yeah, here's one I prepared earlier, definitely meant to do that. So then we'll snap it off and then only drill 10mm into the wooden handle. And then we can work out the bolster and do all that other good stuff, basically just enlarging up the file. It's not very difficult, that. So yeah, let's snap it off and start doing some work. Guess the super glue isn't that strong. Luckily, I have actually made a dent in it though, which is good. So I'll line all that up in a minute. If I can not drop everything, that would be awesome. We all have just one of those days. Right, so I'm going to finish drilling the hole in this because it didn't want to. And, well, I've actually marked it. I can probably just expand it straight to the 10mm now, and then we can have fun with the bolster. So, let's do that. So, I've done everything I said I was going to do with the handle. I do have to admit, I left this one to rot for quite a long time, actually. And I've kind of let it get covered in stuff. This is what the handle looks like so far. The bolster, all I've really done to change it is center punch it a low, just to kind of give it a little bit of a it's a design feature more than anything. And yep, I've shaped it pretty much exactly to the handle, because the handle's got a little bit of a curve in it. So all I've done, just chucked it on, hit it with a hammer a couple of times, done pretty much. And all I'm going to do at the moment is just finish cleaning this up. I'm not going to clean it too much because it's not really important to, you know, it's not really important, this knife. I'm not going to do anything with it, so I'm more just using it as an example to show off what kind of thing to do. So I've done pretty much all I'm going to do cleanup wise. I'm just going to do a little bit more on this face, the spine, and then on the Tang, because that's going to have glue on it. It's quite important. It's cleanable, scale and anything else that's stuck to it during the heat treating process. So you just and because of the curve in it, it's a little bit awkward, but I'm not going to go back and fix it, so I'm just going to have to deal with it. And yeah, that's good enough, that is. I'm just going to finish cleaning up everything else, and then I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. So we've got everything pretty much done the way we want it to. If I just pull it out, you can disassemble it. Now what we're going to be doing is... Do you work? You do. Nice. What we're going to be doing is assembling it. Just chuck a little bit of glue in there. This is some contact adhesive from Gorilla. It's kind of Gorilla contact adhesive. If it decides it wants to come out. This is the problem. Oh, there we go. Yep, there's some. This is the problem with using products that you're not even sure work currently, because I've owned this pot for about 4 years, so not entirely sure that it works. You just got to kind of pack it as much as you can. Then just, okay, fall over. Just give it a prod, you know, just make sure it all goes down. Then make sure your bolster's on the right way. I've had that as a problem before. My bolster's gone on the wrong way, and it looks pretty naff afterwards, will admit. Not sure if that's the right way. It might be. We're just going to try it the other way. Make sure that it's not that way. Nope, definitely the other way. There we go. Then just press it in until it doesn't cover anymore. And then you've pretty much got yourself your knife. It fits really well in my hand. I'm just going to wait until the glue's dried, then we can start showing it off, sharpening it, cool stuff like that. So I've just got to wait about... How long does it say? 20 to 30 minutes. And I will see you guys then. Well guys, this is the final product. It's really nice, it's really comfortable in the hand, it's nice. I haven't really sharpened it. I've put a secondary bevel on it so it takes it down to a slightly more of an edge than it did before. But I'm probably not even going to bother sharpening this too much, just kind of leave it where it is. Just more as a how-to and a demonstration of what you should be doing, and not really a final product, so to speak, but it's really nice. I've just noticed something. There is I've actually found the middle of the branch. That's the very center ring, that isn't. Oh, that made me very happy when I found that. And yeah, that's basically it. It's not perfect, like any knife I make. It's not perfect, but
I did enjoy making it, and that's the important thing. And that's all you've really got to do. Just as long as you enjoy what you do, eventually you'll get good at it. It's just how it works. The more you do something, the better you get. I mean, I'll show you my first knife eventually, and you'll be able to see a small bit of improvement. You know, it's I like to think I've slightly improved, but anyway, that's the video pretty much concluded. I don't want to drag it out too. Hello, dog. Hello. You come to see me? Hello. Yeah, my dog's visiting me today. Yeah, so if you like the video, then, well, a like would probably make me happy. A comment, tell me what you want to see next, and otherwise I'll just keep putting up, like, customer videos, and that's basically it. Unless I get any kind of personal requests for very specific stuff, I'll just chuck up whatever orders I've got on the go, and yeah, that'll basically be it from me today. Subscribe if you're new here, and hello if you're new here. I'm Knives Galore. I have been Knives Galore, and I'll see you all in the next video.